Well, according to rumors that are coming out of Montecito, Meghan has sent out invitations for Archie's birthday party to her celebrity friends like Ellen DeGeneres and Oprah, etc. And so far, not a single one of them has accepted the invite. I believe Ellen said that she never even met the little boy, so why in the world would she attend his birthday party? And also, whose party is this really? If it's really for a 4-year-old, then the party should be filled with his little playmates, if he's allowed to have any, that is. It should have things like balloons and games and toys. It shouldn't have a bunch of dull adults standing around who have some claim to fame, but are also well beyond playing on the floor with a bunch of small children. It looks like Meghan is in really big trouble now, and as far as her career is concerned, it looks like it's bound to fail. She thought that she would have so many celebrity friends flocking to her door to meet a real royal, but either they never existed or they have figured out that anything they may say could soon afterwards be plastered all over the media. Meghan Markle has demonstrated that she cannot be trusted. And since Meghan is also a big fat liar, it's easy for their words to be twisted to her advantage, and it might not be what was really said. So people who Meghan knows or wants to know better are quickly deserting her, leaving her all isolated. She lives in a mansion with 16 bathrooms but has no friends to fill it, and very little else to show for it. Meghan had one last opportunity to show that she was still important, an invitation to the coronation, where she could put on a fancy dress and walk in under the glare of the TV cameras. Not Netflix, though, because they've already been banned. Now, maybe Meghan wouldn't have been able to hold center stage any longer, but still, she would have gotten a lot of publicity, and the world would have been aware that she was still a notable person. But she failed to even get that right. Her pettiness, her jealousy, her mean-spiritedness, her bitterness, they all got the best of her. Meghan is not going to come to the coronation. She couldn't unless it was to be center stage. And of course, that was never going to happen. Instead of all the plaudits, Meghan would have to curtsy to, among other people, Camilla and Catherine, showing publicly that she actually was inferior to them as far as the royal family is concerned. And she would never be able to handle that. So she decided to stay home in California and enjoy a party with her A-list friends, except the problem is she doesn't have any, and now she is almost certainly figuring out the truth. While she only makes friends with people who she can use to her benefit, she doesn't have anything to offer them anymore. Meghan is just eaten up with her perceived self-importance, her brilliance, how perfect she is, and her desire to be the most famous person in the world, because that has been her goal from the moment she met Harry. Outside that box, Meghan doesn't really exist because she wouldn't have the oxygen of publicity any longer. And it is sad, because Meghan could have had so much, she could have done so much for other people, but long ago it looks like she pressed the self-destruct button, and her life has been a downhill slope ever since then. Right now there are also plenty of rumors that their marriage is falling apart, so it seems like Harry's not going to boost her ego anymore. Nobody's going to be there to hear her cries of, "All right, I'm ready for my close-up." It could have all been so different for her if she had just had some common sense. She needs to stop, though. She needs to take a step back, and she needs to reflect on her behavior and reflect on who she is as a person. Now, unfortunately, I suspect, as good as his intentions may have been, her father elevated her to believe that she could be anything and do anything, that she could rule the world. And she believed him. She is dominant and controlling by nature, and being elevated to that point, well, she decided she was going to try to conquer the world. After her role in Suits, the cable TV series, was coming to an end, she weaseled her way into the royal family. All the royal family really wanted for Harry was for him to be happy. He was getting older, and after 2 serious relationships that failed, there was no marriage to either woman. Harry was desperate to have what his older brother has, a gorgeous wife and family. I don't think Harry ever had much of a problem with being the spare. He always knew that he was the spare. He had a lot of freedom and much less pressure to marry somebody who needed to be queen material. Princess Margaret was also a spare, and she always realized that, but she enjoyed the freedom to some degree to live a different kind of life, somewhat outside of the institution. The restrictions to marry the man she loved were in place back then, but today that isn't really the case. Now Meghan has become the most infamous woman on the planet, but not for any good reason. Now, in the beginning, people saw her as a breath of fresh air for the royal family. Meghan had such a great opportunity to be a part of a 1,000-year-old institution that is so well respected in the UK and the Commonwealth countries and really all around the world. But see, Meghan always has to be in control, and she always has to be right. So she believed that she knew better and that she could teach the royal family about this new woke culture. Things are going to change over time in how the royal family functions. I think when it's his time for the throne, William's going to shake things up quite a bit, but the changes are not going to be what Meghan Markle would have done. It's pathetic that she believed she could just walk in front of William and Catherine and that she's so much more important than them. If Meghan had just done a little research, she would have quickly understood that there is a hierarchy in place already and nobody can really create change. It is set in stone. Meghan doesn't understand that the monarchy is not the same thing as the world of celebrities, and it never will be. And it's sad that Harry has made such a mess of his life, but if you ask me, he's going to feel a lot of regret, and it could be too late for him to ever rebuild bridges with his family and his country. Now, eventually, Meghan is going to set him loose, and maybe at that point Harry will have a chance, but I do not see an end to this constant drama happening anytime soon. And I'm pretty sure the coronation is Meghan's next target. She's going to try to upstage the event. For what reason, though, I do not know. How is that going to make her look? It is so embarrassing to watch an adult woman stoop to such low levels. I don't think Meghan is ever going to understand how she appears to the entire world. Most famous person indeed. The history books are going to be a lot more glossy, I guess. It looks to me like Meghan's brain stopped developing when she was about 12 years old. I have never seen a fully grown woman talk such absolute nonsense on such a regular basis, just littering her life with a completely fictional backstory filled with things that never happened, and it's so easy to prove that they never happened. I mean, she doesn't live in reality, and it's depressing that such a scheming, hateful, venomous snake has the freedom to talk such nonsense, when really she should be locked up somewhere, maybe talking to the plants about how she used to be the queen. Harry should have explained the structure of the monarchy to Meghan, and he should have made sure that she understood it before they got married. It's actually not that complicated. And Harry should have explained about how the finances work and that William would receive the money from the Duchy of Cornwall when he became Prince of Wales, and of course it wouldn't be shared with Harry and Meghan. Harry and Meghan could not and should not ever be equal to William and Catherine. I'm sure Meghan wouldn't have appreciated hearing the facts, but at least she could have made an informed decision about whether or not this marriage was going to work. I mean, who knows, maybe he did try to tell her, but she didn't want to listen because she was arrogant and dumb enough to believe that she could just take charge and change everything. And now it looks like she is in destruction mode. She is going to any length and she just looks absurd. She's dragging Harry right down with her, all because she did not have what she wanted. I suspect that she was the one who put the unfairness in Harry's mind, and she used Harry's vulnerabilities to really rile him up and see things as unfair from her perspective. She started a fire in Harry because he believes her, and he's desperate to make her happy no matter what. Eventually, maybe he's going to wake up and see reality, but I suspect that's only going to be after Meghan is long gone. She is never going to be happy unless she's destroying someone, and I'm afraid she's never going to stop.